Hi, I'm Nigel Smith, and we're here in Toronto at the Toronto International Film Festival 2022, and we're in the EW and People Studio talking with the cast and the writer-director of the fabulous new comedy, Moving On. Hi, everybody.
Hi, thanks for having us. Hello.
Thanks for being here. So, Paul, I read that you wrote this with Jane and Lily in mind. I did see your great film, Grandma, back at the Sundance Film Festival when that premiered, and you also worked with her on Admission. But can you talk about writing with two actresses in mind?
Yeah, well, you have to sort of forget that they might not want to do it when they actually read it, because that'd be a little fatal to the creative process. No, but Lily, I met Jane when Lily did Grandma, and Lily called me up and said, "Oh, Jane, then I think you should write something for us." And it kind of stuck in my head, and then I had this idea. And I've also worked with Malcolm a number of times before, and I had this idea of somebody at a funeral, and he's lost his wife, and people are coming up and saying, "Oh, we love you, and we're so sorry for you." And then someone comes up, in this case Jane Fonda, and says, "I'm going to kill you this weekend." And I thought, well, there's a movie there somewhere. And then it just sort of like filled itself in from then on. I was lucky enough to meet Richard during the course of making it. He was the newbie for me.
The newbie. Lily, this marks your third time working with Paul. What keeps you coming back for more?
Is it the donuts?
It was my fourth time.
Is it your fourth? I
No,
apologize.
is it my third?
What?
I'm so confused.
I'm confused too. What is it? Maybe it is
No,
four.
I'm not.
Is it three?
You're thinking of the next one.
I hope. Anyway, so just because he's so good and he has such a style. When I saw, about the boy, I thought that was just a great movie, and so many other things. And I just loved working with him. He's just so open and collaborative and supportive, and he's gentle. Yes, he's like you. And not like you.
Oh. You think it was good casting?
So, he's just a fabulous director and
Thank you,
person.
Lily.
Well, Lily, you just
all that stuff. I really like him for that.
Well, Lily, you kind of tease Malcolm's role in the film, and you play a guy that tough to like. I'll say that. What was it like playing this character, and especially sharing those pretty tense scenes with Jane Fonda in the movie?
I love those scenes. Fantastic for an actor to play that. So much fun. There's two sides to every story.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like there's two sides to every marriage or relationship or whatever. And it may not always appear, to be whatever the truth is. It's somewhere in there, but, it's the Rashomon effect. One has one story and another has another, for the same incident. And so I won't go into details, but he obviously remembers a certain night a little differently than Jane's character, and but it's such a well-crafted script. Paul is an absolutely brilliant writer. I mean, he's a great
Directing,
director. No, directing, he's terrible. No, but the first impression of any movie is when you read the script. It has to be on the page, and he is a brilliant craftsman, and the way he melds things in, it's really rare to read such beautiful words. And so, we worked together a lot on Mozart in the Jungle, and he wrote a lot of those, and they're brilliant. And so, it's wonderful working with him, really, as far as I'm concerned.
Thanks, Malcolm. You too. In terms of Rashomon, every character is in their own movie, and I think it's really important that if you have an actor who's looking at their character and saying, "Oh, that's an awful person," or condescending to it, it's not going to work, because that's not how people are.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's the protagonist of their own movie.
Richard, you share such indelible chemistry with Jane Fonda in your scenes together. How did you two go about achieving that rapport?
For me, there was no process. I was looking at this relationship like something that I had already experienced. And that's what I wanted, to get to the bottom of this. And obviously I've always been very attracted to my ex-wife, although I had moved on. But there was something deep inside that I really wanted to know what was the bottom of that. And she did not come forward with that initially, but we kind of worked around it.
I do want to say that the big makeout scene that Richard and Jane had, Jane had a cold that day, so everything outside of about 4 feet was shot in one place, and then we waited until she was done with her cold, and then shot the close-up of them necking.
So Richard did not do a Donald Sutherland, Julie Christie moment, which I think you may know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Oh, you don't?
You're the only person on the planet that doesn't know. You know, on that movie, when they had to make love in that movie, that wonderful Nick Rogue movie, Don't Look Down, in Venice, and they're on the scaffold. I don't know what the hell. And anyway, it was rumored that they really had sexual intercourse on a major movie, and I think they...
And on a big scaffolding?
And they had to do it 30 times.
Yeah. Well, she was restoring, or he was restoring something in a chapel or something. I can't remember now much about it.
I'll look it up for sure.
Oh, it's a good movie. Yeah, it's a good movie. Right?
Oh, it's a great movie. It's a classic. I watched it recently, as a matter of fact, for
Does it
the
hold
second
up?
time. It does. It does.
The editing.
Watched it with my mother, which was a little uncomfortable. So, Lily, you obviously have such a deep friendship with Jane from having worked with her for so many times over the years. When you play lifelong friends like you do in a film like this, do you even have to create a backstory for the character, or is it all just there based on your relationship?
You have to create a backstory for another character, but I have great affection and love for Jane, so it's just... We're not even aware of that, of having, chemistry, as you say. We just, we like to work together, we like to get together, and someone wrote something recently that says, what you're paying for is to see Tomlin and Fonda bounce off of each other or do something like that. So I guess that's it. I don't know what happens.
As a Grace and Frankie fan, I was just so thrilled to see you back on screen together, and the fact that you continue to work together is just so special. I mean, you have 80 for Brady coming up as well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
With Rita Moreno and Sally Field.
Yeah.
Two added to the roster. So that was fun, and Tom Brady. But that's another story.
Well, did you ever think, when first working with her and meeting her, that so many years later you would still be collaborating on this level so frequently together?
No, I mean, I don't think anyone really anticipates all that stuff, because we became great friends on 9 to 5, and that was fun, and Dolly too, and then Grace and Frankie came along. And my agent called me and said, "Are you and Jane Fonda looking for something to do together?" I said, "Yes, we are now." And it became Grace and Frankie.
Well, Jane obviously couldn't be here for reasons that she powerfully shared recently, and I'm just curious if you heard from her and how she's doing.
Yeah, I've texted with her. I'm going to be sending her photos and stuff from and she's, my understanding, doing well and wishes she could be here, and but is not supposed to be around people while she's getting treatment.
Yeah.
And I thought it was fantastic that she shared the information in that way, because I think that so much of what she does is to demystify things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once something's out, then one can deal with it on a human level.
Yeah. And Lily, have you heard from her?
Yeah, and she's very forthright and talkative about what's going on with her in all respects, and she's indomitable. She first thing she says, "Don't worry, it's really treatable. It's one of the most treatable forms that you could possibly have. So I'm really lucky in that regard." And she's so are you going to come to my next fundraiser? that's her main objective. And now it's the climate.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we all wish her well and have an amazing premiere tomorrow night.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks, Nigel.
Thank you, Nigel.
Pleasure, Nigel.